Okay. Hi, everyone. Thanks for tuning in and giving me this opportunity to talk about my most recent project that I started. Sup Kenya is something that I started in January. It's been a couple of months, but I've managed to do a lot more than I thought I would be able to do, and I've gotten such great feedback. And the whole heart of Sup Kenya is really my Instagram followers. I used a platform that created such a great atmosphere for growth, and actually the feedback was amazing. So Sup Kenya stands for What's Up Kenya, like what's happening in Kenya, and the Sup also stands for Supporting Kenya. So the whole concept is basically I ask businesses or new businesses, old businesses, to let me advertise them, but instead I don't ask for payment. I ask them to give back using their products or services to give back to those less fortunate. So I'm gonna share my screen with you guys now so that you guys can see. I made a slideshow so you could see the pictures, and I'll give you a little story about everything with the pictures. So let me put this on full screen. All right. Can you guys all see my screen? Okay. All right, so Sup Kenya, a form of advertising with a twist that helps the less fortunate. Founder, Zahra, that's me. I'm 27 years old. I'm originally from New York. I was born and raised in New York. I have two little girls who are 6 and 2. I currently live in Mombasa. I've been here for now almost 8 years. I got married when I was 19 and I moved here when I was 19. So I hadn't finished my education. I was in nursing school. And then I did 1 year of nursing school and then I got married. After I had my firstborn, Alina, I decided to go back to school for Montessori, and it led me to opening up a children's activity center as well as a daycare, which is called Nyali Play House. I opened it up with a partner. Her name is Majabin Doji, and it's been an amazing experience. We both love doing it. It was a passion, and the great thing about it was that my kids could be involved in it too. But when I opened Nyali Play House, I realized there was a missing link with businesses and when you open a business, you kind of stay in your circle, and there was like this missing link to reach outside of your circle. Even though we know Mombasa is small, there was still growth that was needed. So I thought of Sup Kenya for businesses to be able to advertise themselves on Instagram, but it's in a new way of advertising. So basically I would talk about their business, introduce you to the person, really get like you would feel connected to the business, and then me and the business would collaborate. I didn't want it to be a bit like for me to make money. I've always wanted to, when I moved to Mombasa, help those who needed it. I was like, I'm in the perfect place to do charity, but yet I don't do it. So I was like, it's time now. Like I have no excuses. So I was like, this is perfect. Because sometimes, like what happens is with charity, you need a lot of funds. And I personally didn't have them. But now when I collaborated with these people, I was able to do, whether it was little or big, it still made a difference and still brought a smile to people's faces. So there was this project that I started with. So I even advertised people in Tanzania, also in Nairobi. A lot of my clients were from Nairobi when I first started. And one of the first ones that started was the Natural Moms Company, and she makes natural soaps and lotions. So basically, I advertised her. And once I advertised her, I also used my WhatsApp groups to advertise her as well so she can get orders. And in return, she donated 50 newborn soap bars for Coast General Hospital. Coast General Hospital is a government-owned hospital, so the deliveries are free, and you'll see mostly low-income families who end up having their deliveries at this hospital. So she sent 50 soap bars, because I called them and they said they have roughly around 50 deliveries a day. So whoever delivered a baby that day, I was able to give a soap bar to them, and she wrote really cute notes on them, and it was really sweet. And that was the first thing that we did. And then what ended up happening is I decided to keep it as a monthly thing where we ended up doing Coast General newborn hampers. So this basket that you see in the car, it had pads, it had Pampers, wipes, a washcloth, bibs, and different companies and different people all collaborated and did their part. So when I did the video about what was in the hamper, I also talked about the businesses that donated it and talked about what that business has to offer. So we've been able to do this month, and then I also had the next month, but I haven't been able to go because most corona cases are being treated at Coast General. So I'm wondering if I just want to drop them off, but like I really like the physicalness of being there and meeting the moms and congratulating them and giving it to them myself. So right now I have 2 hampers already ready, but because of Corona, I haven't been able to give them out. It's just a random day. Whoever gives birth, gives birth on that day receives one. Um, it is it is really nice. It was this one was my favorite because I was able to help. It was like a starter pack that it ended up becoming a starter pack, and it was just beautiful to see all different types of companies come together to bring a smile on someone's face. And the hardest part about that day and when I go there is that I always bump into someone that unfortunately miscarries, and that's the toughest. Like it's really hard because you see the mom sitting there and I'm handing her something and I'm not realizing that, she actually lost her baby. So that's something I realized I needed to be more mindful of. And this was one project that ended up being a bigger project, and it started with something small and it now ended up being something really, really something that I really love and really am passionate about. I can't wait for Corona to be over so I can go back and do it again. The next project that I got to be a part of this is Nafisa Kanabai. She has spina bifida. I'm sorry, I think I might be pronouncing that wrong, but she is an amazing woman. She's dedicated like over 30 years of her life towards charity, and she was working on a project to make an orphanage out of plastic bottles. And what I love about this project is that it helps the environment and that it also will be able to educate other people on how to build build their houses using water bottles. I think it's the best form of recycling. Basically, I went to the site, and what they do is they sand pack the bottles with sand and close it, and then they fill in the gap. They layer it, the bottles side by side, and then they fill in the gaps with cement. This orphanage is meant to home 37 orphans, unisex. There's still a lot that needs to be done. We're still raising funds for it, but it is a project that really is run by her, and I'm just helping her get the word out there. She's a phenomenal woman. She also has a book about her life. She's amazing. And the great thing about Sup Kenya is I've come across so many beautiful human beings and so many inspiring people that I also share on my page. So sometimes it can be someone who doesn't have a business but has a story to tell, and I share it. This was my most favorite project ever. I put in Google Maps like orphanages. I just thought I would go around so that I could reach as many people as possible. And I came across an orphanage, and right across was this baby life rescue center. And I was like, that looks really interesting. And I just knocked on the gate and I entered, and they allowed me to come in, and I just looked at them, and they have abandoned kids that they literally find on the road being eaten by maggots, and they pick them up and they bring them here. And there's about I think about like 16 babies that start from newborn to about 4 years old. And it was really, really, really hard for me to see something like this. And there was a girl named Brenda who had hydrocephalus, and we were able to get someone to take care of her medical bills and follow up with that, which was really nice. And then within 24 hours by posting this, I was able to transform their home. People donated tiles, which I was able to floor their whole tiles. People donated toys. People donated fans. They didn't have fans. Better lighting. We still have someone who will go back in and paint the walls and do new pictures. One thing that I hated about the place, but not hate, that's a strong word, I disliked about the place was that every time I went there, the kids were always in their cribs. So I said, if I make this soft play area, I still haven't added kind of like a fence where that the children can be safe and that the people who are there helping feel a little bit less stressed out, because it is a lot of babies. So I understand why they are in cribs. And the cribs, I actually wish I posted a picture of it. They're kind of like fully, like it's almost like a little prison cell, like not in a bad way. Like I know it's for the protection of the children. It's a crib and it's stacked. So there's one and then there's one above. And I just didn't really like seeing the kids being stuck in their crib all the time. So I said, let's make a soft play area where you can feel more comfortable with the kids being out. And I wanted to create a rotation system where the kids had certain time out and some kids had certain, like that. And a lot of the times you would see the kids sleeping and it was kind of alarming. But what she said to me was that sometimes when child gets sick, because they're in such close proximity, they all get sick. So they're all pretty much like having peritone. But then you also have to understand that there's only so much you can do. And sometimes this was a place where I had to like almost turn my like kind of ignore the fact that they were giving the kids peritone, but I gave her a warning. I said, look, if you want my help, I will be coming here a lot. And if I realize that there is abuse of it being done, I will make it an issue. So I couldn't, there's something I had to learn with these places. Like there's so much corruption within the places itself.
Sorry, Zahra, what were they doing? Sorry, can you
Giving
repeat?
the babies peritone.
Okay, to
Just so
keep
that, yeah,
them.
because there are a lot of kids, and they were saying in her defense, she said that when one child gets sick, they all get sick, and I was like, that's understandable, but also like, it does affect a child when you constantly give peritone. So I informed her of that, and I warned her that if this does continue, I will have to do something about it. But there's also a time where you have to know, like all these places that I'm going to, there is corruption and there is stuff that go beneath the surface that I probably won't know about or find out about. And you just have to turn a blind eye. And that for me was probably one of the most difficult things to do because I'm so outspoken and so impulsive. But you do what you can and you don't get discouraged and you just continue on because something is better than nothing. I went into this project with no experience, no background, no nothing. So that's another thing. It's a whole learning process for me. It's just like literally a baby idea that maybe isn't even at its toddler stage yet. But I hope as time goes by, I learn more and I'm capable of doing more. So this was another project I did. So with the Sup Kenya concept, I didn't want to keep asking for money. I wanted it to be a creative way of fundraising. So with the Baby Life Rescue Center, I never asked for money. It was basically people donating their tiles, companies saying, oh, we'll donate a fan, we'll do this, we'll do this. And the great thing about it is that there are people out there that want to help. They just don't know how to help or where to help. So it's kind of me being the middleman, which is a perfect place to be at this point because it's so beautiful to see how people really want to help and the effects of it. So this was one project that also the girl Nafisa, who we talked about earlier with the plastic bottles, she told me about Sally. And Sally was a very interesting woman to me. What you see there is a urethric, okay, it's a really hard word. I'm just going to say it's a urine pouch. So a lot of people are unable to afford urine pouches. They use plastic bags and they tape them on their skin and it irritates their skin and it's very unsanitary and obviously not the right way to do it. So she's part of the Stroma World Stroma World, I think it's a foundation, and they provide for 1 year. If you pay 6,000, they allow you free stoma bags for a whole year with the extra supplies that you need, the pipes, also a support group, so you meet once in a while, and also they direct you to the right healthcare providers and whatever else you may need. So what I did with this is that I asked for people to donate handbags that they weren't using anymore or didn't want. Some donated new ones, some donated old ones. And when I sold those handbags, I sold those handbags on a live on Instagram. And from all those proceeds, I was able to get 12 people a whole year membership of free pouches and all what Stoma provides. So the paper here shows the application of the memberships. She also sent me like a little like I asked her a little story behind everyone that received the membership. I told her to choose an array of people, a variety of people. Not all the donations were from the sales of the bags. Some people were like, oh, I want to contribute to this cause, maybe because they had some sort of connection with it. I got a big donation from abroad, from London, that really helped get, like, was more than half of the donations that was able to get the 12 memberships. So that was a really nice project. The concept of a bag for a bag was something I gave a shot and it worked. It was a little tricky because it was hard to explain. Sometimes I find like when you try to do creative ways of raising money, it takes a little bit longer because it's a new concept that you need to like really drill in to your followers so that they understand, like how you said you guys did the pizza thing. I think that's a wonderful way. I'm gonna probably use that when a restaurant comes to me and asks me to advertise them. I would love to do something like that. It would sounds awesome. So yeah, just trying to find creative ways to raise money, creative ways to give back. This was my latest project. Justice Defenders is a company that provides prisoners the opportunity to get a law degree. And what I loved about this project was that it gave people a chance to fight for themselves and fight for others. This is Morris. His story was really, really sad. He was an ex-police officer and he was put into jail because he took a bribe, but then he didn't even go to jail for taking that bribe. Was put into jail because he refused to give his boss a part of the bribe. So his boss took him in for allegedly stealing a phone and 2,000 shillings. And he was sent to maximum prison and was sentenced for I believe life to life, like or something like that. He was in prison for 8 years before he got out. But he was able to get out of prison by justice defenders by learning and studying law. And after 8 years, he went and defended himself and got out. And now he has successfully fought for 600 other inmates, over 600 inmates. And he is a big example of people deserve a second chance, and also the corruption that the prisons have, because a lot of them are in there for very petty crimes, but because they don't have 500 shillings, they're stuck there, which is really disturbing. So it brings light to, at a time like this with Corona and Ramadan at the moment, we were all focusing on the orphans and we were focusing on the poor and the less needy. And I just thought there was a whole other population that we don't really think twice about, like prisoners, like do we really? So it was really nice to bring that to surface and to bring that to people's attention.
Sorry, Zara, how did you help them? What did you do? Like, how did you?
So I raised
What's your role?
awareness about justice defenders, and then people donated funds, so that they can continue giving scholarships to prisoners who they feel are equipped to go through the studies of getting a law degree. He's waiting for his graduation and all. He's really done phenomenal job. And we did a live story also with him, so he told us his whole story, all the details, and it was really, really, it was really sad and really strong. We were on the live for an hour, like almost close to 2 hours. But
And
there was a girl that I
how
partnered with who is the ambassador of Justice Defenders, Aruj Sheikh. So she was like, she's the one who really, really spearheads this project. I just helped her helped her raise awareness a little bit more. And then lastly, I wanted to talk about the logo. So I think a logo is really important when it comes to your projects or business or charity, whatever it is. I wanted a logo that was fun, that was cool, that I could brand, that I could see on shirts, on hats, and water bottles. So that what I do with this is that I get them made and I sell them, and all the proceeds go to charity. So the shirts, the hats, and the bottles, the shirts and bottles, and hats all went for 1,000, I believe. And then I was able to give it all to charity. And also, when you have a logo, like I have a company that recently called me who does candles, and she was like, I want to donate these candles and you can sell them and all the proceeds can go to charity. So I think it's really important when you start a business or start a charity that your logo represents you and it's fun and you can see it on things and items, because you don't want to limit yourself. You want to grow and expand. So always don't never limit yourself when it comes to something with your business, whether it's business or charity. So I just thought I would share that. Um, my partner at Nyali Play House, she's a graphic designer, so she helps me with the logo. It took a couple of tries, of course. So that's the end of my presentation. If you guys want to see more, my Instagram page has everything that I've done, all the projects and everything I do. If you have any more questions, you can feel free to message me on Sup Kenya on Instagram. I'm always available. And yeah, so if you guys have any questions, I'm ready to answer.
Thank you, Zahra. That's amazing what you are doing. That's really,
Thanks.
really amazing.
So it's only been about I would say 2 months, but now because of Corona, I've been on pause. I have a mom that is was really sick. She was in a car accident and she was in a coma. My grandfather had passed away in that car accident while I was pregnant with Anaya. So because of my mom, because she is at such a high risk, if she gets Corona, it would be so detrimental. I haven't been able to really put myself out there. So I've been focusing more on the businesses and doing what I can from my phone and from the comfort of my home. But yeah, it's just a small concept that I'm still trying to work with and trying to do my best. And yeah, and I really appreciate this opportunity to share it all with you and giving me this chance to share it with you all.
Thank you so much. I think what you're doing is really good. It's nice to see that you're mainly on social media like we are. We're a club that's running. And yeah, it's nice to see that a lot of positive impact has come out of it. I have a question though. Most of like the funds you raise, are they through your social media or do you reach out to donors as well, or like companies?
So it's through my it's through my social media and probably from my circle. The thing is that the funds I also raise, sometimes I'm not asking for funds. Sometimes I'm asking for, like I said, just items and things that you don't need, or things you're not using anymore. And I really feel like it's people are willing to give. Like we all have stuff that we want to give. Sorry, 1 second, Alina. Alina, can you take her downstairs, please? So basically, it's just being that missing that link for people to connect and know that a lot of times people are like, oh, we want to do something, but we don't know who to trust. Because even with charities, you don't know how much percentage people are taking and stuff. So that's also another thing. I think when they know you, and when I was doing the Instagram page, I had to decide whether I wanted to. Alina, I said take it down. What? Sorry, 1 second. So basically, when I was opening the Instagram page, I had to decide whether I wanted to show my face or I wanted to be the face of the company. Because basically, I knew that if I did show my face, it would allow my followers to connect with me and get a sense of who I am and my vibes and whatever like a connection that if I didn't really show my face, then I don't think I would have gotten as big of a response. So that's something you also have to decide when you start something like this. Do you want your business to be just your business, or do you want to have a face behind it? For me, I thought it was really important for me and my followers to be connected and create that connection and trust between them. So that's another thing you also have to take in consideration when a lot of people are starting stuff. I'm like, oh, like sometimes I feel like if you attach a face to your page or your company or your business, it kind of helps people connect with you.
I think that's really good. And we try to do the same in the sense that we don't want to we raise money, but we don't want to donate any money directly to a charity as much as we can avoid that.
Yeah.
So we, like I said before, that we donated the actual birthing kits, and they go straight to the expectant mothers. The reusable plastic
Exactly.
goes straight to the school girls. We're trying to avoid like feeding into a charity because of the reason that you pointed out, that we don't know what actually happens behind the closed doors. So I think that's a really important point.
Also, like with my donor, like with the companies that I do, even if they can't physically be there for the charity part, I share with them pictures and make them feel like they're there. That's something that's really important to me. And I know at first a lot of people were like, oh, like we all do charity, like you're just showing off. And like sometimes I would get that kind of feedback, and I was just like, me showing what I'm doing is not, it's not me doing it, it's the people who are following me, it's the businesses. And a lot of people are like, oh, but that's not like nice, you should, like, it takes away from the actual doing of the charity, right? A lot of us believe, Muslims, Hindu, I know a lot of people that say like if you give you shouldn't really show it, but it encourages other people and it shows people different ways that they can give. It doesn't have to be just through money, or it just doesn't have to be because you're rich. So that's was something that I actually, first I was like, oh, is it like people are taking it the wrong way? And then you have to like also be the bigger voice in your head and be like, you know, your intentions. And if your intentions are good with anything you start, I guarantee you that it will come to something good. It's just all about your intentions. And I think a lot of the time when you are on a social media platform, you are bound to get people that dislike you or have mean comments or aren't really supportive. And yeah, and it just makes you have thicker skin. And I think what I've realized is that um, I've been through so much, and especially with my mom's accident at that time, I lost so much. It was a really hard time, and what made me kind of like realize that you are your only person. And if you want to do something, don't ever be afraid to do it, because I didn't know if Sup Kenya was going to work or whether it was going to be successful or not. Is it a success? I don't know. Am I enjoying it? 110%. Has it made a difference? 100%. And that's all that matters. I don't need 3,000 followers. I don't care about my followers. If I have 5 followers that support me and help me do my projects, that's all that matters. And that's, at the end of the day, that's what matters. So yeah, it's been a really interesting ride and journey, because it's something I never really saw myself doing, but it's something I'm really, really, really enjoying, and I feel really grateful to be able to do it.
Yeah, and you are helping so many people. And if a lot of organizations have corporate social responsibility budgets, but these corporates, when they give you the money, they do want to be mentioned, because it also shows the government or the public that they are maintaining their CSR responsibilities within the country.
Right.
And if that is the case, then yes, if mentioning them is getting them to give you more donations, which in turn is helping all the needy, I don't think it really matters what people think of you at the end of the day. It just doesn't. I mean,
Yeah, no, and the great thing about this is that everyone benefits from this concept. So whether the advertising gets you more followers or gets you more orders or helps your business, it doesn't matter, because you still did something good for the less fortunate. So no one feels bad. So there's no guarantee that my advertising will help you. But the way I advertise you, I introduce your product, and then we use your product. Like, say there was a company with who does like wedding design dynamics. She's also from Nairobi. So she made printed shirts that said design dynamics. She made them so cute. We went to an all girls orphanage. We donated them. It's not always about even like it's showing advertising in a different light. So it's not only showing that, okay, like you have a commercial and you show off your product, but now you're showing how your product can help others. And not only that, it's like it has a domino effect, because whether it helps your business or not doesn't matter, because you've done something good. So at the end of the day, it's no one's at a loss. Do you get what I mean? Which is what and CSR is exactly what it's exactly what it is, and it's something I'm thinking of, how do I get it more towards CSR so I could do bigger projects. Right now I'm only one person. So these little projects are what I can handle. But at some point I would love to turn it into a CSR where all the proceeds still go towards charity and the same concepts and stuff like that. But it's I actually didn't know what CSR was. So when I started this page, a lot of people were like, what is this? Like, what are you doing? And it was actually a really hard concept to get across. People are like, what? Like, what are you talking about? And over time, when I kept doing it, people understand it now. And people are like, it's CSR. And I'm just like, I had to Google CSR. I'm like, what's CSR? And I was like, oh yeah, it is CSR. And now it's interesting. Life is a learning experience. I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't know how it would end up. I really came up with this within 5 minutes and just ran with it. And yeah. I was also told that Fatma wanted me to talk about how to get through Corona at a time like this. And I was just, I was thought that the best way to talk about it was by sharing what I do. I think most of us have a bucket list or things that we want to do and haven't gotten the time. I think Corona is a time to just slow down and appreciate the time you have and take advantage of that time, whether it is to learn a new recipe, whether it is to learn a new skill. So I tried coding. There's free coding camp online. It was really complicated, so I gave up. And that's okay, but it's the time for you to make the most of it. And I don't think if you change your perspective, it changes everything. So if you're seeing this time as, oh, this is hurting my business, or this is miserable, I'm home all day, you're never gonna make it through this. And it's going to be a while till we get through it. So I would suggest first change your perspective over everything and just take up one new challenge. Start there. And if you don't like it, it's okay, but at least you gave it a try. So I also ordered a knitting kit. I'm going to start knitting. I've been learning how to cook, but I just think it's really important to just try and do trial and error. Life is about trial and error. It's a hit or miss, and you figure it out. If you don't try, you'll never know. So, and with Corona, I know it's so unfortunate with all that's happening, but there is a silver lining to it, whereas in the earth and the world is healing, and we're getting more time with our family, and we're getting more time to really focus on what really matters and what really is important. So your perspective is everything in that sense. So I hope that covers what you wanted me to talk about. And yeah, if you guys have any questions, let me know.
Yeah, Zahra, I think I was really impressed with what you're doing and the way you're going forward. I think that's the way to go forward.
Thank you.
Like you said, at the moment, like you're alone and you really want to sort of grow. So I think this is the time where Rotary comes in because this is exactly what we do as a single person. Sometimes we cannot reach out, but as a collective effort, it really opens up a lot more doors. Your connection, the network, and everything becomes much, much bigger. So I think I'll let Menka send you some details about it, and we would love you to join us. I mean, if it
yeah, I would be more than happy to join you guys. And, I'd be honored.
I've also been doing a lot of frontline thing for Rotary as well, and we always believe in advertising or talking about it because that really encourages other people to see what we're doing. And like you said, there are people out there who have the money, but they don't know what to do with it or how to go about. Or there's a trust issue as to the transparency and stuff. And I think this is where sort of Rotary comes in because we are very transparent on everything. In fact, as at Tanzania level, we've just done a donation of $100,000 to the Ministry of Health here for COVID PPEs. We actually bought the PPEs and have sort of given out. So
That's
this
amazing.
sort of a thing. But I think so I think when as an organization, there's an aim and there's like-minded people, a group of professionals. We all come together and we try and do as much as we can.
Yeah, we're so fortunate that we live in a place that needs the help and
Absolutely,
we are
yes.
able to
Just
help.
for that, you'll be able
Um,
to help.
Also the Sup Kenya, like with all the charity, also with all the charity that it comes with, the amazing thing is that I really love supporting the small businesses, new businesses, old businesses, because at the end of the day, we can't support one side and leave out the other. So it's a nice balance to have promote and uplift businesses as well as those in need.
Yeah, correct. Because
Yeah.
we're empowering them as well, so we
Exactly. And it doesn't matter whether it's, I mean, at the moment, I've mostly gotten a lot of females. I really, really would like some more male people to come to me and come forward with their ideas and their projects to share. But I think I've posted about one boy so far only, like one young, his name is Farouk, and he runs this charity called Rise Above Hope. And I collaborated with him to get mattresses for an orphanage. And it was really an interesting journey for me because it was just my first project, and I learned a lot from him because been doing charity work for a long time. So yeah, there's a lot to learn and there's a lot to do. It's just a matter of getting your foot out the door.
Thank you. No, I think that was, I don't know. Lena, do you have any questions, Fats?
No, thank you so much, Zahra,
Thank you too.
for
No
enlightening.
questions from me. Thank you, Zahra. I told you you'd be amazing. So I'm
Thanks,
really
guys.
happy you had a chance to.
I'm sorry my kids disturbed a little bit. They're impossible. Sometimes I told my husband, I was like, from 5 to 6 I'm locking the doors and you're gonna take care of them, and obviously that didn't happen.
That never happens, but it's
Right.
okay.
Okay, I'm gonna go finish my cooking and break my fast, hopefully.
All right.
See you guys. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you so much.
Bye.
It was lovely meeting you all.
Bye.
Bye.